With so much software available in the short-term rental industry these days, it's increasingly difficult to keep up to date with what's on the market and to determine whether it's a maybe or a must-have for you and your business. So meet one provider each week in a short interview, learning what they do and what they offer. So if you have around 15 minutes to spare, it could prove to be a very good investment to stick around. So let's see who and what is out there, one by one, with me, Deborah Larby, also known as the Guest Inspector. Hi everyone, and welcome to another episode of Techsplained with the Guest Inspector. Most of us know him from fireside chats. Others won't forget his prediction that property managers could all become glorified cleaners one day. And of course, a lot of us have heard about his love of sharp knives. Today's guest actually does a lot more than speak at conferences. Yes, he actually works. He's the man behind AJL Atelier. And today we're going to find out exactly what AJL Atelier offers. Today, my special guest is the one and only Simon Lehmann. Hello, Simon. How are you?
Hello, Deborah. I'm absolutely amazing. Thank you for having me today.
Thank you for coming along, and great to hear you're amazing. Great. Now, Simon, we're going to start off as we usually do. Can you please tell us in one sentence, what does AJL Atelier do?
We help property managers to basically improve their businesses with finance, strategy, operation, technology, whatever their challenge is. We're happy to assist any size of property manager in improving their business and professionalize their business as well.
So one of my questions was going to be, depending on the service, does that affect the size of the property manager that comes to you? But let's just go through the services that you offer. Well, one by one. I'm assuming that you offer them all separately as well as together. So something like consulting, strategy consulting, what does that entail?
Absolutely. So first of all, we're entirely focused on the short-term rental and vacation rental industry. So we don't do anything in hospitality or anything the like. We're fully focused on vacation and short-term rental, so urban and leisure, all the different business models that we see. It's a full-service property manager, it's an agency, it's a franchise. No matter which model, that's who we assist. Strategic consulting is a very broad word, right? Strategic, everything is strategic at the end of the day, what we do. And so we're helping. So most of our customers come to us and say, hey, I need help with a specific issue. That can be of strategic nature to say, okay, what is your plan for the next 3 years? Well, I want to grow to 200 units. I want to sell in 3 years. I want to have more profit in 3 years. I want to double my profit in 3 years. I want to buy additional property management companies. I need a new technology stack. A lot of that is strategic as well. While it's a heavy on operation, when we come and talk to vacation rental companies who actually come to us, which is a beautiful thing for us to do because we don't need to go run after them. They come to us and say, hey, Simon, we have a challenge. Our first question is always, why are you in this industry? And that is already starting with a strategic answer, right? And some don't even know why they're in this industry, right?
Well, and how does the process work then? So you start off with those questions, you ask questions, and then you formulate the strategy and how they move ahead with that strategy.
Absolutely. So what happens, people come to us in most cases and say, we need help. The topic they need help for is always different. That's what we love about AJL. So we don't do any cookie cut stuff. You know, what works for vacation rental in Marbella doesn't work for vacation rental in Paris or in Galveston Island, Texas, or wherever it might be. We have customers all over the world. So we're truly international. They come to us and say, Simon, we need help. Then we start to assess what are they needing help with, right? Is it the technology stack? In many cases, it's actually many different things at once. You know, scaling operation, you know, have operations issues with cleaning, insourcing, outsourcing, cleaning, and that's what we assess. So when they come to us, we assess that. So we have an onboarding call, we discuss what they need help with, and then we run through very specific questions, and then we identify what is needed. Based on what is needed, we then make a proposal to them, which is mostly our fees are structured by day rate and project rates, right? So we're consultants, we're a professional service company, which means our time is money, and therefore everything is measured by time and days we put in. So once a proposal is accepted, then we make the arrangements very specific. That means we provide a very detailed questionnaire about the business, right? And then once they give us that feedback, so it's about the unit counts, the financial performance, the competition in their market, what are their biggest challenges are. So we get a lot of information before that, so we can be prepared. And then before we normally we do a deep dive. It's called a strategic deep dive. So it's a workshop between 2 and 3 days together with the management team, where we sit together, mostly at the property manager's place or in a property. That happens also often because people don't have offices anymore. So we do it in a property, which is always good to combine the product with the work. And then we run through these agenda, which we put flip charts all over the room, we make notes, and we do it very interactive. And probably the first question is, doing a SWOT analysis, strength, weakness, opportunities, and threats of a business. That's already a massive eye-opener. Or do an elevator pitch and say, hey, what does your product stand for? What do you want to be? How do you differentiate yourself? And these are amazing conversations when you're in property manager industry, and then you ask a property manager, how do you differentiate yourself from your competition? That's already a very, very tough question to answer, right? They say, well, we're good at guest service. We'll say, well, the others are good at guest service as well, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
This sounds like you really, really sharpen the view of their business. You really put the focus into their business and really look at it in a very, very detailed way.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So 2 things we say to them when we start. First, let's try to step out of your day-to-day hamster wheel for 2 or 3 days. Okay. Let's step out and look outside in to your business. The first thing we need to do. So people need to get out of their daily stress on operations and occupancy and revenue management and tech stacks and whatever. So I asked them to literally step out. And the second thing we tell them, AJL is not here to tell them how wonderful they are. AJL is here to tell them what we see needs improvement and how you can improve that, right? And it's always something different, and people resonate to that extremely well. And one thing that we like to do is we like to have larger teams. Sometimes just the owners are with us or one person is with us, and that it does not give you the same effect. I enjoy working, or we as a team we enjoy working with a larger number of the team, because then you get out a lot more things, and sometimes we've had incredible situations when people need to write an elevator pitch about their business. We have 5 different answers because they see the business is doing something different than what others are doing. So that's one thing. Once I had a consulting mandate, and obviously I won't mention names, but it was an interesting case of a property management distribution platform. And within the lunch break, the management team came in and said, we're resigning tomorrow if the CEO doesn't go, right? So this is very incredible situations. and having been a CEO myself for 25 years, you get to know people very quickly. Like you understand the dynamics of a group, you understand the dynamics that are happening in a boardroom, and then you need to be able to react to it very quickly, intuitively, and say, guys, let's work this out, and let's talk through what the challenges here are. And that's something I really enjoy doing as well.
So you give clarity to a business, and then you obviously advise them or steer them in the direction they should be going to get to where they wanted to go, their goal.
Exactly. So basically the way we structure it, we say if it's a 3-day deep dive, the first 2 days we have a car in front of us, and we take that car totally apart, and then we put it back together again. And in the 3rd day, we sort of create this task list and action list, how we can address some of these issues that were raised. We need to look deeper into the tech stack. They're not happy with the PMS. They're not happy with the channel manager that they use, or their home automation software doesn't work. They have automation issues. They have efficiency issues. A lot of people want to increase their efficiency. So we create like a task list and an action list, and then we give them practical advice on how you can resolve that, right? One thing that is important here, especially on your show to mention, is we're not resellers of software or any services, right? Otherwise, we would lose our credibility and our professionalism. So one thing that we always stress with our customers, we're not reselling 360 different software types. We want the best for the property manager, right? So we understand the needs of a PM in terms of his tech stack and everything else, and we will make sure we will provide that solution that we feel fits best for the property manager, and we're not taking money from anybody to resell any technology.
Yes. So that strategic consulting is clarity and ironing out the wrinkles. Beautiful.
Absolutely.
Okay. Right. Now, profitability, one of the key words that's been bounced around conferences a lot. So you're offering profitability solutions as well. So this is part of the strategic consultancy.
Absolutely.
Someone wants to be more profitable. That's part of that initial that consultation, the strategy.
Absolutely. Okay. So when we talk about strategy, we talk about vision and mission as well. We need to understand why we're here for and what do we do to reach our goals. And for that, it needs a strategy, and then you need financial goals, right?
Yes.
Financial goals are a very integral part of your overall strategy, business plan, forecasting, budgets, etc., and profitability, because that's the oxygen, as we have all found out in 2020 through some surreal happenings with a pandemic. We have understood what actually oxygen means in the real world. But it's also become very clear to property managers that, we need to understand our cash flow and how long can I run a business without any bookings, right? And what do I need to do to remain profitable? Because at the end of the day, just growing without actually making money at the end is going to be very challenging. This profitability issue was predominantly raised by investors who has asked certain companies to grow very rapidly without making profits. But now, if you want to go out there and raise more capital for your business, you need to show investors how you can run a profitable business. And that is absolutely key.
So not only helping them become more profitable, you can also help them with raising funds too, right?
Absolutely. That's not something we do often at all. I need to stress that we don't raise capital that much. We've done a few occasionally. That's very difficult. First of all, raising capital, when investors have an advisor, they rather give the money to the startup than giving the money to the advisor as a success fee, right? So when you raise, so this is an idea for everybody who's looking out there to raise capital. I think if it's early fundraising, you're better off doing that yourself. We can assist with the pitch deck, we can help you position your business, etc., etc. But actually going out to investors, we don't do that. We do more as selling of businesses and buying businesses, but not actually raising funds.
Yes, but you help them make their numbers look more attractive if they're going to go out and seek funds.
Absolutely. We more attractive. I mean, we want to make the operation more attractive, so the numbers are going to look better in terms of profitability, in terms of margins, in terms of all the key performance indicators. That's something you need a lot of measurability within your business. You need to know your key performances, obviously your average day rate, your revenue per property. You need to know your occupancy rate. You need to know what your gross margin is. And we help people identify these key KPIs. And then we help them to understand how you can actually scale them as well. So I would like to make one example. The most important metric when you're growing your business is, what is your average property acquisition cost? Most property managers in the industry do not know the true property acquisition cost. So what is the true property acquisition cost is how much money does it cost me to get one new property on my books? That is contracting, negotiation, taking photos, writing the content, getting them listed, getting them connected, etc., etc. And how many people do I have involved? How much marketing do I spend on that? Everything needs to be allocated in terms of cost, so you know what your true property acquisition cost is. And unfortunately, most of the property managers do not know what their true property acquisition cost is. And that, for an investor, is a key metric. He says, I give you 100,000. How many properties can you get with that? And then you also need to know how many properties during that time you're going to lose, because they cost you something as well, right? So I think that's a key metric that we help people to understand. and to derive to, but we have many other metrics we help property managers to basically derive to as well.
Yeah, that all sounds fantastic. Very, very interesting. And you also offer education. You've got some courses online too.
Yes.
That's great.
So yeah, absolutely. So while we're saying that our key objective is to professionalize vacation rental, that's what we want to do, right? That's what we stand for. We want to help property managers to professionalize its business, to raise the bar. We all know post-COVID that, we have gained a lot of customers who only used hotels in the past. Their expectations are different, and we need to live up to that. And therefore, we need to professionalize this industry. Classical hotel schools still see the devil in Airbnb, right? So classical hotel schools like in Montreux, Lausanne, Lucerne, all the big Swiss hotel schools, but also international ones, they don't have curriculum on vacation rental. They only teach about running hotels, right? And we always said, where can you as an individual go to learn how to become a professional property manager? So when our consulting business was obviously not going as good as it could during COVID, we decided to invest time and resources into building hotel.school/vacation rental, which is a tutorial of 6 subjects with 150 subclasses in total. So that's up to 30 subclasses of 15 minutes each, which is brain-based micro-learning, this is called, right?
Yeah.
And so basically, we want to help people to become a professional property manager. So we have 6 different topics. We have strategy, we have operations, we have marketing, we have technology and data, and we have revenue management. And people can download these courses and basically do online education. It's very interactive. There's tests during the courses as well. So you can become a professional property manager. And we have customers who run their entire team through these. And that's something we obviously would like to promote a lot more as well.
Yeah, it is one of those industries that everyone just learns as they go. There is no school, there's no degree, there's no education, but that's great. I mean, there is slowly with all the conferences, but that's great. Now, you also talent. You recruit, you help recruit, you put people together.
Absolutely. That's something we have done less and less because it's very complex. You need a massive network. Here, I'm actually happy. So we have customers who come to us and say, hey, we need a new operations manager or we need a new sales manager. Can you help us find somebody? So yeah, we've done quite a bit of individual searches. So it's not like we're advertising and make a big thing about it. We use our own network and resources to place these individuals. We've had a business development manager for Americas. We found for a technology company as well. So, but what we're doing now is that we're going into an official partnership with Better Talent, Steve Trover.
Oh, lovely!
In the United States, and basically AJL will redistribute Better Talent and vice versa, because we felt that Steve has done such a great job in the US. He's already got over 80 open jobs on his platform. We don't want to go down that avenue. Steve and I, we go back 15 years and more in the industry. And I really like what Steve is doing with Better Talent, and we're the ideal partners for that.
Yes, that's great. We've done a Techsplained interview with him, and it's really, really great. So I'm glad you've partnered up. That's fantastic. Cover both bases. Now,
that's right, without competing.
Yeah, I want to touch on 2 things that you seem to have coming up in the wind, coming up soon. Now, am I clear in seeing that you're going to be offering some kind of revenue management solution?
Not at all. We don't want to compete with any revenue manager out there whatsoever, right? We can help.
Yeah.
So what we do, so at the moment, AJL consists of a team of 10, which are actually within the core team. So we have a financial analyst and financial experts, our head of finance. We have somebody from xbooking.com who's very good on technology and operations and distribution. And then we have a team now in the US as well. And what we do, we don't want to grow our core team necessarily. We want to work with subject matter experts. Okay. So if we feel that we can't go into enough depth, let's take revenue management as a perfect example. So we can help potentially source a revenue management system. We understand the needs of a property manager. But when it goes really deep and informative and technological deep down into revenue management, we then take experts that we then offer to our customers who take care of that.
Okay, fair enough. The second one is sustainability. You're going to start offering something to do with sustainability.
Absolutely.
Oh, can you tell us?
First of all, absolutely. So first of all, it's a special day today because I've just resigned from My Climate in Switzerland. My Climate is the largest carbon offset foundation in Switzerland. It's been around for 20 years. Absolute leader in carbon offsetting and financing projects around the world. So I've been there on their board for 8 years. But because I want to focus more on AJL and because we want to offer products to property manager how to become more sustainable, I stepped down as a board. The idea is that we're actually partnering with My Climate and offering a product to property managers to make their operation and their properties together with their homeowners more sustainable. So what can we do that? So there's different ways we can do that. First of all, My Climate has a very comprehensive carbon calculator. So that means we can tell a guest or a homeowner how much carbon a property either in winter or summer is creating, and therefore we can also say how much it needs to offset that carbon that this house creates, depending on the electricity it uses, the fossil fuel, the heating, everything that goes around it. We can measure, and then we could tell a customer, okay, if you go to 1 week to this house in this place in Spain or whatever, we can tell you how much carbon you'll be offsetting there or using, creating, and then you can offset that. So that's one thing we can do. And that's something we're going to offer. So we're going to offer carbon calculators to property managers. And the second is we're offering like a list, a full comprehensive list of things that property managers can either do on their own with their operation to become more sustainable, but also with homeowners in terms of, hey, how can I reduce my carbon footprint with this house, with water filters, to reduce water consumption, thermostats, in terms of insulation, keep the temperature up a notch instead of cooling it down to 18 degrees, et cetera, et cetera. So there's a lot we can do as a vacation rental industry, and we want to build a product around that to help property managers and homeowners to become more sustainable with their properties.
Yeah, fantastic. I think the ball definitely is rolling about sustainability in the industry. That's really great. Really great. Yeah. So to wrap up, you offer a consultancy service to clarify a business, iron out the wrinkles. Do you have a minimum size property management company that would come to you, or anyone who needs help can come to you?
Anybody that needs help and is willing to obviously afford the professional services that we charge can come to us. So we've literally have customers that have 23,000 units on file. Our smallest customer currently has 40 units in the Swiss Alps. That's the smallest customer that we consult with. So sizes does not matter at all.
Yeah.
It's more about the conviction. Hey, I need help, and I would really want to go through this, and AJL and the team can help me to take my business to the next level.
Yeah,
so the size doesn't matter.
And I suppose also, depending on the issue, depending on the problem, the solution can take a short amount of time or a long amount of time. So, it can go quite long. So everything is quite flexible, but it's a daily rate. Yeah.
So what we do is we have a deep dive package 2 or 3 days, depending on the size of the business. Yeah. And then we have a monthly retainer, which is like 1 day per month or more if it's needed, that we assist the property manager with actually executing on the action list we talked about.
Yeah. So is there a contract then to work with you? Is there a contract that the manager has to sign?
Absolutely. So first you get a PowerPoint presentation with all the services that we discussed together. So it's tailor-made. We don't do cookie cut stuff. We do everything tailor-made to your needs. You get a PowerPoint proposal. Then after the proposal will be then discussed in detail, and then the details of what the objectives and the expectations are of the property manager are then being put into a contract that is then being signed. The contract is only 4 pages, so it's very straightforward. But we want to make sure the expectations are are clear on both sides. So we're making sure that we deliver up to what the customer is looking for at the end of the day.
Yeah. And is your target audience global?
Absolutely. So we've got customers in Australia, we have customers in Mexico and Chile and Argentina. We've have customer all over the world, so we're truly global. And one thing we also do, which I would like to mention here, we also do exactly the same or similar work for property management technology companies as well. These are not just property managers. So we worked, you can go in our testimonials. We've done a lot of work for companies like Reviews, for Superhawk, for Operto, for Breezeway, for NoiseAware. So we've done a lot of strategies there as well, which are more market entry strategy related, partnership integration strategies related, growth. We've done work with, et cetera. So we do the same for technology companies too.
Right. Well, thank you very much for pointing that out. That's another big branch. Great. Well, lovely. Well, yes.
Absolutely.
Something more to add, because we're just about to wrap up.
Not at all. I think the last thing that we would like to add is obviously our M&A, which is merger and acquisition. So if anybody out there is interested to potentially sell its business, a property management business, then we are more than happy to assist. To do that, we've just sold one in Chicago. We have sold other property management businesses in the past. We've sold one in Spain. We have 3 deals going right now in the world for selling property management businesses. And we're also selling technology companies. And we do that together with an investment bank. So it's not just AJL. We're doing that together with a professionalized investment bank called Gambon in Paris and Raincatcher in the United States. So we definitely help selling property management and technology business. Our recent largest transaction that we just did, we sold Avantio, the PMS in Spain, to a new investor as well.
Mm-hmm. Wow, big guns. No, that's great that you touched on that, because I did have it in my notes before, but I completely missed the M&A. But I suppose that's part of the strategy consultancy. You know, I want to be bought, I want to buy. So that would be that would come out.
Exactly.
Yeah, great.
Absolutely.
Well, if you have any questions for Simon or AJL Atelier, please pop them in the comments below. I will put a link for AJL Atelier below. Simon, it's been great learning about AJL Atelier.
Thank you, Deborah. I really appreciate it to be here. And thank you very much for your efforts to bring businesses to this industry.
Thank you very much, Simon. Speak to you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that episode. If you'd like to catch up on the ones you've missed, just head to the Techsplained That's for the longer interviews. But if you don't have time, you can always catch the short ones, the Tech Minis. Just head to thetechminis.com for extra short interviews. See you next time.